Radio Network, the world's conscious broadcasting network. Live on iTunes and archived on iHeartRadio, the voice of consciousness. And now, join Shay Parker's Best of the Best, offering celebrity guests, lively discussions, hot topics, free psychic readings, and expert guest hosts. Simply the best in spiritual and metaphysical talk radio. Listen live on your phone or device using our universal mobile player. No app needed. Shay Parker's Best of the Best. Find out more at bestamericanpsychics.com.
Well, welcome everybody. This is REBELations, and my name is Colby. So first, I want to thank you so much for tuning in this afternoon, which is on the East Coast. Shout out to all my East Coast people. And a huge thank you to Shay Parker and Best American Psychics for having REBELations be a part of the best lineup here on OM Radio. So, the goal for this show is to bring a little reality to spirituality, to, helping you understand it all and allowing you to tap into it yourself. So I have a fantastic guest here tonight for you. This woman is not only a world-renowned spiritual medium, but she is one of the warmest, most loving women I have ever had the pleasure of meeting. So I was so excited to meet her last year, and I knew she had to be the first person I wanted here. So she tours the country demonstrating mediumship, teaches classes and workshops here in Los Angeles, and yet still found the time to be here on REBELations. So without further ado, I would love to introduce you to Austyn Wells. Hello, Austyn.
Hey, Colby, how are you?
I am so great. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Honey, that was the sweetest intro. You're very, very, very welcome, and I'm incredibly honored.
Oh, I meant it. I think you're just one of the most fabulous, fabulous people I've ever met. So I'm so excited for tonight.
I'll let my mom know.
She did a great job. So for the listeners, you are a spiritual medium, yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, what does that mean? Can you tell just the general public, what does that mean, spiritual medium?
I think it's important to notice when you go to people to have a session, what they call themselves, because it'll help you understand kind of where their grab is coming from. This work has informed my soul. So I needed to really celebrate the fact that I come from a very spiritual perspective in my sessions. So it's not just about the loved ones that I'm connecting to on the other side. It's about the progression of the human soul sitting with me, or the group that's with me. So the spiritual, and I'm also affiliated with spiritualist churches across the country. So it sings to that note.
Yeah, no, that's great. So now when you're sitting with someone and on that soul level, do you recognize blocks, or do you recognize maybe where their next step should be and help them along those lines?
Absolutely. And it depends on where and how they're coming to me. But I am so in love with the spirit world. They know what we need way beyond I do. So really the main intention I set before I sit with a person when I'm creating sacred space is, let me be of service to the soul. Let me hear and feel and see and know what best will allow them to be empowered and more at peace and at harmony with their world. So if that comes through, if it's a mediumship session, for sure, we're going to target that. But I also have a branch of my work that supports just the darn human experience.
Yeah, right?
We need a hand to hold every now and then,
We all do, don't we?
Oh, my God, yeah. We're certainly not doing this alone, nor should we try to. We're not good enough drivers yet.
Yeah. Now, how did you first connect with spirit? Do you have a specific incident that you remember connecting with spirit?
Yeah, actually, when I was 5, I was in a fashion show, and it wasn't really that big of a deal. I was a bridesmaid. I was going to have like a little basket, and I was going to throw roses into the audience. And, if I look back on it now, it was not, there was no way I couldn't succeed, right? But at 5, I was really nervous. I was a little gun shy in front of people, and it was just really overwhelming to me. So I was awake in the middle of the night, terrified. I was talking to Leo the lion, who was not helping me at all. And all of a sudden, I prayed from the depth of my soul for help. And in that moment, my room shifted. The walls started morphing, and all of these people came into my room. And I wasn't scared at all.
Wow.
And this amazing woman came and stood by my bed, and she didn't talk, but she spoke from her heart. So it was an invisible it was like I felt her words. And she said, "How can we help?" And I just said, "I'm afraid I'm going to fall. I'm going to trip. I'm going to make a mistake." So in that moment, my bedroom became 2 realities. I was in the reality of my room with all these new friends. And then to my right was the runway of the next day. And they literally played the tape of what was going to transpire. So I could see myself walking down the runway, and I saw that was going to work. I might have been a little nervous, but it was cool. And then I could feel the audience. So I could feel how much they wanted me to succeed, which made me relax even more.
Aww.
And then she gave me the ability to witness all the angelic support that was contained within the structure and the walls and the flowers, and like everything glowed with an awareness that the invisible space is all held in love. And once I had that piece, then we were back in my bedroom, and the runway disappeared. And then I just thought, wow, I guess I'm going to be okay. And then she, just smiled, and then they all morphed back into my room, and I was back with Leo the lion.
Wow. Now, do you recognize now who that would have been for you? Was it an actual loved one in spirit, or a guide, or an angel? Do you recognize now who that would have been?
That's a great question, Colby. I do. I work with her quite a bit. She has kind of been a guide for my soul in general. And it's been a fascinating road, because at times it's been revealed it's my higher self that's just made herself available to me.
Oh, how wonderful.
Yeah. So and it also speaks to the fact that there's so many more dimensions that we're aware of. So, we call people that have issues mentally on just like they have 2 personalities, that's a complication. But if you can look at our persons as having so many different fragments, that we can be in so many places at the same time, that I think it's really comforting to know that there's an aspect of ourself, whether it's our future self or higher self, that really has our back, if we just give that spirit the permission to inform us. But there almost needs to be a free will permission. It was something I really got in one of the trainings that I did, that I needed to give her permission to do that. And then it wasn't just in that moment, then she could inspire moments in the past, the present, and the future, because she was aware of all time.
Right,
So,
yeah. And we do try to get in our own way sometimes, don't we?
Yeah, I've done that twice. That's all.
Yeah, absolutely. So now the question is you mentioned higher self. So you said my higher self. Can you just let people know, what is the higher self?
The higher self, I would really say, is your soul. It's the aspect of you that is eternal. It's the aspect of you that is always connected to the divine intelligence that is the source of everything. So it has that energy holds your purest and highest potential.
Yeah, I feel that same way too. And again, it's most of the time we're busy either telling clients or telling ourselves to just get out of our own way and just trust and surrender, right?
Right. Right. And it's an odd concept too, because surrender feels like the language of it
Yeah.
makes like we should fall away from something when we're
Right.
surrendering. But really what the beauty of the spirit world and the journey of following your soul is it's a falling into the self. It's a falling in love with self. It's a falling within. So it's such a different concept when you're looking at the language of the soul as opposed to how we language the visual physical reality that we have. So it's like sometimes that they can sound very different.
Yeah, that's a fantastic way to phrase it too, falling into. So that's wonderful. Yeah, that's great.
Well, you carry, Colby, you carry
Yeah.
that. I mean, you have that sense of inward working. I mean, I've been blessed to watch you work, and you have that inner sourcing, and it's an amazing place as a mentor to people that are either developing or really out there doing whatever they're doing, is watching when that sweet spot is grabbed and when there's no thinking, there's no manipulating, it's just the flow of it. It's that divinity in action. And it's the sweetest. It's like, right, if I was a surfer, I guess this is what surfing would be like.
Yeah.
But I akin it to like watching dolphins when they just effortlessly are having fun in the waves. That's what it feels like. And you can see it in people when they hit it. And to me, that's always when it's sweet.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And we're about to go to break here in just a second, it looks like. So what I want to do is make sure everyone has your website. It's austynwells.com. And for anyone who doesn't know, it's AustynWells.com. So it's a beautiful spelling of the name Austyn, austynwells.com. And we will catch you on the flip side of the break here. You are listening to REBELations with Austyn Wells here.
This is OTR-FM, part of the IOM radio network.
Hi everyone, this is Shay Parker, the host of Best of the Best, which airs live right here on IOM Radio every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Pacific. I'm super excited to bring you expert guest hosts, spiritual discussions, free psychic readings, and so much more. I can promise that you will not want to miss this one-of-a-kind, fun, yet touching, down-to-earth show. Join us every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific on OTR-FM. This is Shay Parker, and I can't wait to see you there.
Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network. Are you trying to get from point A to point B and need a little advice? Connect with the counselors at OMTimes Advisors. Whether you're looking for a life coach or a spiritual intuitive, the advisors participating at advisors.omtimes.com were carefully chosen based on their gifts, skills, and professionalism. OMTimes Advisors, connecting you with the best advisors in the business.
Matt Connerton here. Join Jen Coffey and I twice a week for Matt Connerton Unleashed, a political talk show that's a little different than what you're used to. No liberal or conservative agenda here, just an honest dialogue about truth and how things really work in the world of politics. Matt Connerton Unleashed, every Tuesday and Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio.
This is OTR-FM, part of the IOM radio network.
Welcome back, everybody, to REBELations. This is Colby, and I am talking with Austyn Wells today. Hi, Austyn.
Hello, Colby.
Now, right before the break, we were definitely talking about higher self and how you felt falling into self was a really great way to maybe phrase it to someone so that they didn't feel maybe a disconnect to this happening, right? Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the whole and your phrasing even there is great, because disconnect is something that is an illusion. That's what our eyes let us feel is that we're separate from everything, but the reality of it from the energy soul perspective is we're always connected.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's actually really beautiful. And so you also talk to animals, yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we know we have Leo the lion, right? You had Leo the lion. Now, do you think having Leo the lion as a child kind of helped you connect to animals, or did it develop separately?
I was an only child, which is funny because I'm not really, but I was. So I have two half brothers, but most of my upbringing I was by myself. So I had it, and it's funny you're asking that, because I had lots of stuffed animals around when I was a kid. My mom used to put them in the tree up above my bed, so they were like surrounding me at all times. But I could talk to them when I was younger, and I could hear. It was actually the first spirit communication was just talking to animals, and I could hear what dogs were thinking or things, and I just kind of thought it was normal.
Yeah.
Until it became. There was a dog down the street that. I always saw and just intuitively said good morning, gave it a big hug, and as I walked away, it said, "Well, goodbye, because I'm leaving today." And I was like, I'm so confused, and it died that afternoon. And at that point, I got really scared because I was still pretty young, and I'm like, God, I don't know if I want to know when that kind of stuff happens, because it like went right to my heart.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I love talking to animals, and it was a surprise. It wasn't. They have a bandwidth of trust. I find the animals. They really have to believe in you to work with you.
Yeah. Yeah. Now,
there needs to be an accessible purity, I guess.
Do you work with clients with animals? Like, do you help find animals and things like that, or what kind of connection do you use it with?
I don't have specific animal communication services, because there are people who absolutely sing in that profession. But it's been such a surprise because I was doing some I was doing some shamanic work, and I started practicing it when I was driving, because if I saw an animal that got hit by a car, I would do this little sweet energy release of their physical system, just to make sure that all of their soul, if there was any impact or some kind of fear, that part got released back to their soul. And that's when they started showing up. So it made me realize that they lay in wait for us to be grateful, and for us to realize that they need our assistance, because they can't, openly communicate. So once that kindness was extended, they've just been the sweetest people to talk to.
Yeah, that's, I'm always, when I first moved where I am, I had a couple little birds that would just die in the backyard. Oh my goodness. And so I'd have these little burial services for them. And so I know what you mean by kind of having that prayer and releasing. It does feel like it helps. Yeah.
Does it work did you find that then they kind of flew into your readings as well?
Oh, let me just tell you. Yeah. They fly into the readings, but they literally fly into the space, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is a beautiful connection. I mean, it really shows us how we're all connected, right?
Yeah, it really does. Yeah. And I find that their messages are so, they come from such a purity. It really makes me feel as if, I know that people think that animals are like lower in the evolution, but they understand unconditional love a lot more than we do. And because of that, it's come to my awareness that they walk with our souls, and it almost feels that they are connected to a single soul, or the souls that they connect to. You know, if a pet goes from one owner to another, they've got multiple people that they're working with, right. But that the pet will stay with the soul during the incarnation. And again, people have their own interpretations. This is just what the spirit world's kind of revealed to me as I've done this work. And so when they come in to talk to people, they only have the best in mind. There's no ulterior motive. They just want to celebrate them and want to make them feel better. And it's just, they're so charming to spend time with.
Yeah, there's such an innocence about it, isn't there?
Absolutely. Yeah. Great capture. Absolutely.
So what would you say is like the most surprising animal that you've ever talked to?
A hamster.
A hamster?
A hamster. Okay. I've talked to a bunch of different out there animals, but the hamster was surprising because of my own prejudice. I was with a group of kids at a bar mitzvah, believe it or not, and all the kids were asking me questions about what I do and how do I connect and can you feel my dog and this and this. And this little boy stayed afterward, and he came up to me and his eyes were huge and they looked like he was about to cry, and he goes, "Can you find out if," what was the name? Jerry. "Can you find out if Jerry is okay?" And I mean, I was like, oh my God, this is really important. And so I thought, I have no idea where we're going. And all of a sudden I saw this hamster and I said,
"Oh, wow.
It's a hamster?" And he said, "Yes." Oh, well, it actually, it chokes me up today because they expanded my heart, this child did. Because I realized how much this hamster had impacted the family. They lived in a small space. They couldn't have a big pet. The hamster was like the dog. It showed me going in people's closets and hiding in their shoes and being held at the breast. And it opened up this whole world to me. And so it was the best teacher that we can talk to everything, and that everything is a blessing, and not to think just because it lives in a habit trail and runs around in circles all day long that it doesn't have lots of wisdom to share.
Well, and how amazing, for you to have put that out there. I don't know if I could have done it. I would have been like, oh, I don't know what, the fearlessness of you saying hamster to this boy is just incredible.
Well, thank you. I think what I did was that he needed help.
Yeah.
Or not help, because we don't rescue people. We don't heal people. We offer an opportunity for people to transform something into something else. And this little boy was so devastated that I just said, let me help him. And I think that, again, we're talking about, it's interesting, this is surrender in this segment too, the surrendering into that strong power and knowing that this has nothing to do with me being right or wrong. This is about this little one having a cookie today.
Yeah.
And I think when you can transition yourself out of it, and it takes, it's not a perfect science. I certainly am very human. But that's the hope of it, is when those moments happen.
Right. And it seems that Jerry needed to get a little message across. Yeah.
Yeah, he really did. He really did.
And I bet you that little boy, as much as you hold on to this your whole life, I bet you it did help transform that little boy. And it's probably a memory he still has today.
I hope so.
Oh, now do you see totem animals and things like that for people as well?
When I was, that kind of thing opened up once I studied shamanism.
Okay.
Because I wanted to see, so once I wanted to understand vision, that took me on a whole exploration of how does everybody see? How do people that have worked for the government, how do they see stuff? How are they trained to be whatever they do? And then I really got into shamanism because I'm like, well, how do the indigenous people do this? What do they do? And since that's primarily connecting with animals, their consciousness, and they're great to work with if you have lost, for those people that are intuitives and mediums, to get an animal's energy in your awareness when you're trying to find a lost object is perfect, because they have no emotional attachment to stuff. They're just instinctful and they're out for survival. So in shamanism, we were kind of working with different animals. And so I have, a tracking cat. And the cool thing about it is you can actually, once you develop the relationship, is you can send the cat out. It's probably going to sound like, I smoke things, but you can send the cat out with a mission, with a intention, and let it go and let the energy come back to you on it. And I've done that when people ask me, if I can track something, but I've got a schedule, and then I give it to the tracking cat and I send it out. And then I'll be in the middle of a session and the tracking cat comes back in. I'm like, oh my God, that's so weird. But it works because I've set the intention that it's possible. And because it's possible, that potential can manifest the right answer.
Wow. Yeah, you know what? I had 2 huskies that are now in spirit, and I've lost some earbuds. And I'll tell you, maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll send the boys out on a tracking mission to help me figure out where I put these earbuds.
You know what?
Everywhere.
I think that would be spectacular, because I can only imagine how much they loved you. And I can only imagine how much they'd want to help you out. And for you to find ways, I think all of us should do this as an experiment. I think everybody should think of something that they wish they had clarity on, or something. Of course, with the due respect to the person, if it connects with a person, you're sacredly wanting something that's helpful to their soul as well.
Well, that's interesting. We have to go to break now, but what we're going to do is, I think when we come back, I kind of want to go into that just a little bit more, if you don't mind, because I think everybody might love to try that little exercise, right?
Okay, you got it.
I think that's fabulous. So when we come back from the break, we're going to do that. If you want to find Austyn, AustynWells.com. You can also email info@austynwells.com. And you can find her on Facebook and Twitter, and we will see you after the break.
You're listening to OTR-FM, part of the IOM radio network.
The name is Bond. James Bond.
No, the name is Joe. The Joe Show. And we are returning back for our 9th season here on OMTimes Radio. So tune in every Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, on OMTimes.com/mobile. You can take us wherever you go. Yeah!
Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community. Have you ever wondered how to change your love paradigm? The secret key is finding a love partnership, not just a regular connection. How do you find these? Through conscious relationships. Ascending Hearts Dating is a dating site for people like you that believes in second chances and a different type of spiritual connection. Try Ascending Hearts for free today at ascendinghearts.com. and change your love paradigm. Ascending Hearts, the premier dating community for the spiritually awake. Join Elliot Jollish, the business therapist, each Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern for the Elliot Jollish Hour, as he interviews business experts on your behalf. And you're invited to email your business questions to questions@ecjgroup.com for answers, live, on air every Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern on the Elliot Jollish Hour.
You're listening to OTR-FM, part of the IOM radio network.
Welcome back to Revelations. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are talking here with Austyn Wells, and right before the break, we were talking about tracking and using pets that have crossed over to help you perhaps track lost items. So, Austyn, can you tell us exactly how we would do that?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
this is for personal gain. I'm just saying, personal gain here.
No. Hey, we're all in it to win it, so that's all good. What I would suggest is the best way to work with the spirit world is to be in the highest vibration that you can be. And when we're in our day-to-day consciousness, we're not quite there. So there needs to be something that you do that creates a sense of soul altering where you're stepping. So we were talking earlier in segment 1 about not stepping outside, but stepping within, stepping into. So there needs to be a feeling that you're stepping into yourself. Guided meditations are so wonderful for this. So the first thing that would happen is that you would want to, do you actually want me to do a guided meditation real fast?
Sure.
Do you want me to do that or not? Because I can I can explain it or I can do it. Okay. All right. So if you're driving a vehicle, this is not the time to close your eyes.
Yes.
Okay. So just get comfortable where you are and just take a nice deep breath in and exhale. And another deep breath in. And exhale. And imagine that you are standing in space. You're floating in space. And in this space of pure possibility, just floating there, I want you to witness all of the angels and archangels and guides and loved ones, whether they show up as color or as a feeling or as a physical presence. Maybe you're feeling tingling around your body right now. Just allow in that space of nothingness there to be a whole bunch of something, a whole bunch of love. And knowing in this moment that you have that kind of love and that you're supported and guided in every single moment, just set an intention for what it is that you wish to have information about. And then allow yourself to imagine that you're standing in front of a stunning tree. And it's a tree where you can always visit that allows any kind of connection, whether deep into the earth or high up into the astral planes. And allow this tree to be representational of you. Look at the leaves, look at your becoming, look at the trunk, look at the support you have, and look at how your roots are going deep within the earth. And as you witness that trunk of support, I want you to just imagine that behind it, there comes an animal from your past, and allow whatever animal from your past comes forward to come forward. It will be perfect for this moment. And allow that animal to manifest. Try to look at the color. There's a smell maybe that comes. Allow all of your senses to just grab the experience of that loved pet being visible to you. Now, knowing that this pet has been part of this from the beginning and has already been aware by the spirit world that it will be of service, allow it to take you on a journey. Allow it to show you all the things that are around that particular thing that's needed to be found, or perhaps give it permission to show you forgotten treasures of your past. So just follow that animal through dimensions and time and place and space as it takes you back to a room, a space, inside, outside. And when that animal starts to build that space, allow yourself to really feel it. Are you sitting? Are you standing? What are the colors you recognize? And allow that animal to show you what you need to see. And if it's just a recapturing of a memory, allow that to build. Or if it is something specific you're looking for, taste that object. Feel that if it's metal, feel that sense of metal in your mouth. If it's got some kind of a texture to it, hold that, almost like the animal is doing, and allow the animal to give you all the information it can about that place. Allow it to go dynamically to where that object is now, in space, in place, in time. Take in the textures of what it's around. Is it under? Is it on top of? Is it between? Can you feel whatever it is around you? Now listen deeply to the place where that object is. What can you hear? And then give the animal the permission to give you more information past this moment and place and space and time. And allow that animal to visit you in your dreams tonight with more information until you know exactly what it is that you need to know. So gently connect with that animal again. And give gratitude and love to the animal. And feel that coming back to you. Like the sweetest rain. And then gently float with that animal away from that tree, back up into that place and space with all those loved ones around you. And just for a moment, breathe in unconditional love. And use this as a place and a space and time to rejuvenate yourself, perhaps to start your work sometimes, or just to step into a sacred space for yourself. And take a nice deep unconditional love breath in and exhale. And another breath in and exhale. And when you're ready, gently, gently open your eyes.
Oh, that was perfect. That was really beautiful. Thank you for doing that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. Did you get any insight?
I definitely was seeing the boys, but I wasn't able to figure out where they were showing me the earbuds are. So I'm going to try it tonight.
Good. Okay.
Because I think it's a fantastic exercise. So I definitely want to try it. Because they have to be somewhere. But it was just nice to see them and connect. I was a little surprised when they came around the tree so easily.
Well, you know what?
They are right there.
They're waiting. They're like, oh my God, we get to see her today. Yay.
Yeah. I love that. Now, is it when you connect to spirit and you're communicating with spirit, is it the same process, or how does it work for you?
I'm like, where do I go with that? I always work in sacred space.
Okay.
I wouldn't work any other way because I have to be in the best vibration, and that is not always something that I can hold. So prior to a client, prior to today, prior to anything, I am in a place in a space at least 20 minutes beforehand. I open sacred space in my office. I invite all the energies in. I deeply pray for the souls that I'm going to be connected with. And then I do a meditation myself to kind of open my own energy field. And then I just breathe and just ask to be guided. So I'm not in charge because it's not about me.
Right. Yeah. So the sacred space, you can create that anywhere then for yourself?
Absolutely. It's literally the concept of sacred space. Mm-hmm. You know, when you walk in, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you you follow the religion of it. But when you walk into a church, you know how it feels different.
Yeah.
There's a different feeling. It's because every single person that walks into that is asking for healing. So it holds the energy of healing. The vibration in those places and spaces is sacred. So we need to figure out what is sacred for us and how do we create the vibration of that so we can step into it and work from that space.
Okay, good. So you can do that. Where in your space is it particular? Like, is it in where you do your client readings? Do you have like one set place and then you can do it anywhere else if you need to?
I have it, I always create it as being not necessarily physically set.
Okay.
Because if we're dealing with a multidimensional universe, I want to be out of this dimension in a sense.
Yeah.
So I ask to be taken outside of physical time and place and space to a sacred location, and then I build that from there. But it really is such a strong indicator of how much our intentions create our world, because it's such a set environment that I have clients that after the session will say, God, that was the weirdest thing. First of all, it seems like time went by differently. And also it's like, I felt like I was someplace else. And I don't need to tell them why they feel that way, but that's the best affirmation I can get, because they need the holiday as much as you need the ability to be able to connect with their loved ones.
Right.
You know, and sometimes if somebody comes in and they are really twisted.
Well, you know what? Can you do me a favor? I think they're going to make us go to break, and I really want people to hear this. So when we get back from the break, can you also kind of, because I think this sacred space is amazing, and the ability for people to kind of create their own sacred space might be really helpful for them if they don't always have the ability to kind of go see someone. They can kind of create this for themselves.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
Does that sound fair enough?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Again, this is Austyn Wells, and you are listening to REBELations.
You're listening to OTR FM, part of the IOM radio network.
Hi, this is Angela Levesque, host of Entanglement Radio. Join me Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern for inspiring conversations with visionaries in spiritual science and conscious healing. Entanglement Radio, Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern. Transcendent talk for the conscious mind.
Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network. The number one reason girls drop out of school in sub-Saharan Africa is lack of access to feminine hygiene products. The Pads for Schoolgirls Project, an outreach of Humanity Healing International, is changing this paradigm by setting up sewing programs at schools, teaching girls a vocational skill, while producing the reusable pads that help keep them attending classes. The girls pay it forward by making and giving pad kits to other girls in need. To learn more, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is.
Do you want to be a better communicator? Do you want to better connect with the important people in your life? Do you want to enrich your relationships? If so, join me, Matthew Cooper, on the Positive Control System Show every Wednesday evening at 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on OMTimes Radio. I'll meet you there.
You're listening to OTR FM, part of the IOM radio network.
Welcome back, everybody. I hope you are enjoying your time here with Austyn Wells. I know I am. I'm loving this. So thank you, Austyn.
You are so welcome.
And before the break, we were talking about creating a sacred space. Now, you had mentioned, that feeling you get when you go into a church, which I think a lot of us can relate to, or something that is relevant for them. But how can someone create their own sacred space? How can we do that?
Part of it is being curious enough to find out what sacred is for you, what the difference is, what the feeling is when you're in a space that you feel connected to, however that source energy connects to you. So for some people, it can be a transition of lighting a candle. For others, it's a full meditation. But really what it is it's a journey within, and it's an invisible one. And it's what we should all be really nurturing, because what is going to be perfect for one person probably won't be the same for another. But it's essentially transitioning from the visual world to the invisible world.
Okay, yeah.
And sometimes I think it helps if the brain, because you kind of have to disengage the conscious brain and get to the parts of the brain that are more on the subconscious part. So it's kind of transitioning a little bit from left brain to right brain.
Okay.
But breath does it by changing the pattern of breath, or just taking the awareness within yourself, or staring at a piece of, like a flower, and really taking in the hues and the colors and how it makes you feel.
But we again, can all do it then, right?
Yeah. Oh, okay. God. It's everything in the spirit world is accessible to everybody. It really is.
Okay. Now, what is for the mediumship? You working with spirit and working with the public and clients and students. What are your hopes for the future of mediumship and connecting to spirit?
I hope we don't get complacent with what it looks like right now.
Okay.
I hope that we work more as a community to enhance the ability to communicate with the spirit world. And because if the spirit world is working with this many people, we should be asking bigger questions, and we should be expanding the client's perspective as well. Because if we have, I went to a demonstration recently of a channel, and somebody got up and asked a very personal question about themselves. And her very non-judgment question back to them was, this is what you wish to ask infinite intelligence. And she didn't say it with any kind of judgment, but it was so only about that person, when there was an opportunity to ask the divine something.
Right.
So right. My hope is that we look at this as an intervention, in a sense, as we need help, and that we need to be personally responsible for our lives, but that the spirit world really wants to help us. So we should find out, what would it be? Wouldn't it be amazing if you got a think tank of mediums that could connect with energies like Gandhi and like Abraham Lincoln, and you put them in a TED Talk with some of the other people that are thinking about problems of the world, and you get channeled information contributing to our thinking. I mean, I think there's so much more we can do.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I'm excited about continuing the conversation.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I feel like having shows like this really helps. I mean, it just helps connect us all. It helps connect us with each other. So I think it's about putting it out there as one and knowing that we're all one, right?
And also kudos to you, Colby, because you've intuitively very much let the show reveal itself. And that is exactly what is great for this kind of forum, because it shouldn't be formulaic. It should be, if our business is all about listening to spirit, then this should be an example of what it can look like if you do.
Oh, thanks.
So well done.
Hi, thank you.
You're welcome.
Now, here's the thing. I know you have some events coming up, and I definitely, because I want to talk about them, because there's one in particular that is just seems so exciting. Not that they're not all exciting, but
No.
You've definitely got one in February where it's in Santa Barbara.
Yeah, I'll be at the Spiritualist Church of the Comforter on Sunday, February 21st. I'm also seeing clients in Santa Barbara around that weekend as well.
So they can find you online to book with you for that.
Absolutely. Go to my website and they can
AustynWells.com.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the one I really wanted to also kind of go here, Queen Mary. So the Queen Mary, for anyone here, is a big ship, right? Mm-hmm. And you're going to do an intensive mediumship course there. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. The minute the opportunity presented itself, I went, "Oh gosh, I'm in! Are you kidding me? I want to go! Like I'll teach it, but I want to go! Like I want to play! Yeah, it's going to be amazing. We have people are filling out questionnaires because we really want to tailor make it to the people that are coming to best empower their mediumship to take it to the next level, whatever that looks like. We are going to make it fun because your energy is better when you're having fun instead of, trying.
Yeah.
So I'm teaching or working with a medium whose name is Allison Gannon, and Allison is probably one of the most spriteful human beings. She always is coming up with these really fun ideas, and so it's going to be so much fun. And then we just added AJ Barrera to the ticket.
I love AJ.
I know. Yeah, so AJ is going to come on board, and he's going to talk about some of the paranormal work that he's done on the Queen Mary, and talk about, because one of the things AJ does that talk about the future of mediumship is he uses EVP things to demonstrate his mediumship. So that's what I mean. I love AJ for that reason, because he's thinking outside the box.
Right. So now, for anyone who doesn't know, what is EVP? Just for anyone who's never heard of that before.
It is electric voice. Dear God, I am blanking on it. What is it? Electric voice. Blah, 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 blah. It's when you capture spirit voices on electrical
frequency,
equipment.
Right? Yeah, it's kind of like they can record their frequency of spirit.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I know AJ does.
Patterns. I'm not going to go further. I've already tanked on that one. So, but I'm going to have my cabinet there as well. So we're going to work on a bunch of different levels, and that's one particular night. But yeah, the Queen Mary, that's going to be fun. So that's March 14th, 15th, and 16th in Long Beach. And
wow.
The website for that is mediumshipretreat.com.
Okay, so mediumshipretreat.com. Are there still spaces available for people to sign up?
Yes.
Okay.
And people are also staying on board the ship. So.
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, wow. Fun. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, the EVP is the electronic voice phenomenon.
Thank you.
Yeah, no words. I had to Google it. So.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm not in that world, so the vocabulary.
Me neither, but, thank goodness people like AJ are, and they can help show us some evidence of the physical evidence. So that's really great. So yeah, that sounds really, really fun. And I know that ship is kind of supposed to have some spirit activity on it. So you guys should have a great time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And now in April, you're working with my teacher, Lisa Williams. You guys are all doing a conference, right? I will, I can, I am. Yes?
Yes, it's the I Will, I Can, I Am conference, or the website is iwillIcanIamretreat.com. This is going to be so fascinating. I've never met Lisa. I cannot wait to work with her. I respect her. I think she is she's so good at what she does and seems like such a nice person.
Really
so I'm really looking forward to that whole thing. But the gal who's put this together is brilliant, because we have Mystic Chef Meadow Lynn, we have a sound artist Sarah Beebe, we have an intuitive healer Diana Ewald, and we have a Kundalini yoga gal Jennifer Lassick, and all of us are going it should be really wonderful. It's April 22nd through the 24th, which is actually Earth Day weekend at the Bristol Hotel in San Diego. And I'm so excited about it because I love those kind of conferences where you really, so if we're talking about personal empowerment, this is where you go to get your drink of water for yourself. This is where you learn some new tools and techniques. So whether you're working and you just want to give yourself a Valentine's Day gift, there you go, or you just are interested, you can either go to my website to get information or go to that particular website.
And this conference really could be for anybody. You don't have to be studying the work or practicing it. Anybody can kind of go to this conference that just wants to connect with themselves, soul, and community. Yes?
Absolutely.
Oh, wow. That sounds like fun. It sounds really great. And you're teaching tending the garden of your soul.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, how fun is that?
Yeah.
So what is someone going to get from that, do you think? What are they going to kind of take away from that?
From the weekend?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be different. Well, we were just talking about sacred space, so it's a perfect way to have different tools and techniques because we're energetic beings, so we should be better versed of how to shift our own energy, not rely on the outside world to do it. It's our responsibility to do it. So you'll get some experience with sound healing, and Lisa's going to be teaching some really wonderful intuitive exercises, and I'll be dealing with mediumship and visioning and shaman stuff. So and Lisa and I are actually going to be doing a sacred space together creation. So,
wonderful.
It should be really fun.
It looks like we're kind of coming to a close. I want to make sure we get your website out again because all of your events are on your website. It's AustynWells.com. Thank you so much, Austyn. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Colby.
All right. You have a great night and
thank you for joining us for Shay Parker's Best of the Best. Be sure to tune in next week for more lively discussion topics. Have a great week, and don't forget to check out bestamericanpsychics.com in case you need some professional, ethical, and accurate psychic advice from the nation's best psychics. Until next week, take care of yourself.